What is up, everybody? Me and Mrs. G are making progress on this 190. Since the last video, Mrs. G's been sanding body panels and sanding filler and smoothing that stuff out. I'm getting ready to take the fuel tank off. Whatever engineer designed that is special. I found bushings for the spindles, so I'm going to take that apart. I found the spherical bearings that go in the hydraulic cylinder for the steering, and I ordered them. Just dragging everything out of here right now to once we get this fuel tank off, then we can power wash the rest of this tractor really good, and then we will start spraying primer and paint. We are quite excited to spray orange paint.
Yeah, I've never been part of an orange one.
How do you like that sweatshirt Mrs. G's got on? Oh, yeah, nice. That toolbox goes on my Magnum. Mrs. G's painting that. But I'm laying out all these pieces and spraying them down with degreaser, and I can power wash them really good. But one of my viewers said on the last video, when I was using the super clean, that I should mention that that's not a steam cleaner. I'm not using hot water. That's cold water pressure washer. So that shows that the stuff works pretty darn good. Bring it back. This fuel tank was not fun to get off. There's studs through the bottom of the tank, but where this one is, they got lock nuts on them, and I could only get in there with a gear wrench and loosen it like one click at a time. And this is what I meant about these hydraulic lines. What the hell? Those are special lines. I was thinking it would come on coupled. That's crimped. Anyway, that and the way they set up their fuel lines, you couldn't get in to get this undone either. And then it comes out of there and goes over to the second sediment bowl. Not quite sure why they needed two of them. Mrs. G's had enough sanding for today. Got the nose cone all sanded. Got this bodywork all smoothed out.
Made some royal F-ups on the paint.
Yeah, she had this stuff painted black, and then she started sanding the Bondo and forgot to turn the exhaust fan on in it. Yeah.
Means I get to do more sanding tomorrow.
Yeah, and painting.
Yep.
It's all good.
Oh, well.
It's all good.
You live, you learn.
It's Sunday afternoon. I think we're going to go sit on the couch, watch a movie or something. So, later. All right, it's the next day here. I solved the issue of all those hydraulic lines with that. It'll be fun, but I'll just make hydraulic hoses up instead of that. I don't know what they were thinking there. But Yeah, they come up here, so I'll just use some like long JIC 90s. So that, all the hoses are out of it. We're gonna replace every single hydraulic hose on this tractor when we put it back together. Mrs. G's been sanding away and spraying black paint. I took all these triangle wheel weights off because they're only on this side. Obviously it was set up for plowing. And I did get the plow with this when I bought it. I just haven't ever gone back to get it out of their barn. But I'm gonna scour their sheds and see if they have a set for the other side also. Otherwise I'm just gonna leave them off completely. But it drives kind of wonky going down the road in road gear, and I think part of that is because there's all this weight on this side and not on the other. This top link is proving to be a challenge to get off. My valve cover gasket should be coming UPS today, so I can seal that up. And then we'll clean up the booth and do some serious power washing on this thing. Just all the long, tedious steps. Mrs. G is sanding like crazy. These rims, front rims, have been brush painted about 100 times. So
Yeah, I'm begging you not to brush paint rims.
it makes it a challenge to get that stuff
I
off.
mean, I've got the grinder, but I can only get down so far.
Yeah. We need to get a sandblaster.
Yeah.
All right, well there's your update for right now. Once I get the valve cover on and sealed up, I'm gonna try to get these spindles out of here, and then we'll start power washing. And I'm gonna paint the cream color first, prime it, paint that, then we'll do the silver, then we can just mask this off. I was gonna take these tires and rims off, but there's really no reason to, because I got plenty of room to spray in behind it. That was a whole lot of power washing. I think I've about worn Mrs. G out squeegeeing. Holy cow. It takes an awful lot of time to get one this clean. Anywhere else that when we're scuffing all the frame, anywhere that we missed, we just use some brake cleaner and a wire brush. But back in this area here, oh my God, there was a whole bunch of grease. And you saw what this looked like when I pulled the fuel tank off. So fuel tank's all degreased, tractor's degreased. We're gonna go on to spraying primer, sanding and priming and painting the wheels next. So Mrs. G has been absolutely working her butt off on sanding this tractor down. She's had the week off for
Gross.
spring break because she works at a school, but she gets all the credit on all of the sanding on this. I'm gonna take, I haven't gotten back to this. These just suck because you can't pound that down because the keyway in there, so it has to come up, and I can't get a puller under there and keep it on there, so I think I'm gonna heat it up again and use my air hammer and try to pound up on that. But I'm gonna strip down some more stuff on the engine, some of these lines. I'm gonna take some of these lines off so we can clean them up. I may end up polishing them instead of painting them and like putting some clear coat on them just to set this thing off. I'll take the starter off. I'm gonna ask you guys' opinion, but it probably isn't gonna matter because by the time I'll have already made up my mind. But
We'll do the opposite.
I started wire wheeling this, and I think this would look pretty cool if I took it off and took all the paint off and then polished it. I think it'd look neat. But the only thing painted so far is yesterday we painted the axles. We have been, after we power washed forever, we still just keep going around with a putty knife and scraping out more grease. But Mrs. G has everything up in here sanded. She's got the fuel tank all sanded. This one's a project, but they all are, but we're doing this one right for sure. They didn't make this fuel filter too easy to get out of there.
Did they make anything easy?
Yeah, I don't know. I got a new, I'm filming by the way. I got a new kit to rebuild this prime pump, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take that out of there. Do you think I was explaining that to you?
Talking to me.
Do you concur?
I am so covered in grease right now.
I'm not gonna want Mrs. G to go back to work on Monday because it's awfully nice having her around helping.
It'll be nice to have makeup on.
You don't,
Clothes.
you don't need makeup. It's like 70, what is the temp today?
It's
70,
supposed to feel like 76. It's gorgeous.
76 today.
And 34 Monday.
Yeah, and then a couple days it's supposed to be 34.
Well, and Sunday's my birthday, and we're supposed to go out, and it's supposed to be severe tornado weather.
Yeah.
Never have I heard them say severe
Yeah.
tornadoes. So I might not get to go out.
Me and the boys are gonna take Mrs. G out, but, what was it? Severe tornado weather with,
Golf ball size, or no, baseball size hail.
baseball sized hail. That's great.
But hey, add it to the list.
Yeah. I'm itching to get going in the field since it's gonna be April next week, and the whole forecast, I mean, you can take the long-range forecast for what it's worth, and that's not much, but it says like the whole month of April was supposed to just be
Crap test.
crap, like
Rain and
cold,
50s.
cold and rainy.
We've had Aprils where I've been out staining the deck in a tank top.
I don't know. The weather anymore, it just seems like everything around this area, would you say like it's a month behind? Like,
Yeah, everything has shifted. When we were young, it seemed like December was the worst and June was the hottest. Now it's like August, September are the hottest, and geez, February seems to be winter. Did you hear that wind out there? My God.
yeah, the wind is ripping. Let's see. Are any of you guys planting yet? Any of my farmer viewers from southern states?
If you are, don't tell us.
All you farmers feeling optimistic about Monday's government report? I don't know if I am. I think there's gonna be a whole lot more corn acres. Myself included in that, because as of right now, you cannot make a dime planting soybeans. Sure hope something changes, because farming just kind of sucks anymore. I absolutely love it, but I hate the stress of the input prices and the grain markets and the weather. See, with these lines all off, I'll be able to do a lot nicer paint job, but I know it's overkill. It is what it is. Take that out. When I was working over in the other shop earlier, stupid Robin just repeatedly kept ramming into the window, like over and over, to the point that I went over and opened the window and said, "Hey, you dumb bird." And it waited 5 minutes and just kept coming back and ramming into the window.
Oh, my spirit animal.
Rat. I tell you, some of the birds, they're just beyond dumb. Mrs. G, she's a bird lover. But man, when the sparrows start in the barn,
Except for, what are those stupid ones that I can't stand?
barn swallows.
No. They're brown with black heads. Cowbirds. Oh my
Cowbirds.
gosh. Those are so bad.
Well, when the sparrows all start trying to build their nests in the spring, I mean, you open the overhead door on the shop, and in 30 seconds, there's 5 freaking sparrows flying around in the shop. And they are like rats with wings. They instantly start trying to build nests up in the garage door openers.
They are cute.
Mrs. G knows. Birds have completely infuriated me in the past. During planting season, get a rain day or whatever and have to park the planter whatever field I'm in. Then you come back days later and there's nests built in every crevice of the planter, and it irritates me.
Oh my God, you should tell them the lunchbox story.
Oh, the lunchbox story.
Speaking of birds.
Oh. So years and years ago, I mean, 25 years or so, one of my best friends was helping combine corn. I was combining, and he was running the grain cart, and when it got close to lunchtime, every time we were catching on the go, he was really looking up into the cab at me, and I'm like, why does he keep looking at me? He was waiting for me to open my lunchbox. And it just so happened that the first time I opened my lunchbox was while he was catching on the go with me, and a frickin' bird flew out of my lunchbox at me while I was combining. He had somehow chased down one of them killdeer while I was fueling the combine up or something in the morning and put it in my lunchbox. It was funny, but I was pretty pissed because my lunch had bird crap all over it
Oh
then.
my God, I wish I could see that.
Oh. First time I ever had an animal jump out of my lunchbox at me.
Oh, mother.
What's wrong?
I whacked my head on that. I hate these stairs.
What'd you do that for?
Look at me. This is stupid. Like, oh. I need to go in and get my workout done.
You've been out here sanding all day. I don't think you need to go in the house and do a workout.
I do.
You've been working outside. These things have definitely been changed because they would have been like brittle and falling apart right now if not. Okay. What else? Last fall, after I got this, I had, hopefully you guys can see, I had the injectors all rebuilt. I did not change these little sections of rubber hose on the return, and of course it leaks, so we'll just take that off right now too. We'll replace those.
What the? Something just started to pour out back here.
Oh, it's fuel coming out of the fuel line because I just unhooked the return.
Thanks. Glad I wasn't sitting there. Jeez.
Well, the fuel would have washed some of the orange off of you.
Whatever.
Luckily the engine and everything, the engine runs perfect on this tractor. Transmission's good. The injection pump had been rebuilt recently before I got it, so the turbo is all good. There's no play in it, so I don't mind going through and spending all this time to bring this thing back to like brand new condition, because if you got to get into the motor and the trans and all that, that's when you just get buried in it. Just a little bit of parts that we're putting into this thing alone are expensive enough, plus when we put all the rubber on it. Those tiny little spherical bearings that go in the steering cylinder, I mean, they're like that big. Well, here, hold on. These. That was like $300.
Come on, that's pennies.
Just the cost of everything is just, it's just getting out of control.
It's not getting.
Yeah, it has been. It's getting worse. We've been doing all of our own repair work, not paying the dealer, $160 or $200 an hour, whatever they are now. It's still incredibly expensive to operate a farm anymore, or any business. Something's got to give, because everything just gets passed down to the next guy, and sooner or later, when it gets down to the last guy, and that guy can't afford any of it anymore, then everything just kind of...
Pretty sure we're that last guy.
Yeah. I think you're right. We are that last guy. And it really sucks to be that guy. We were both hoping today to have the frame, the fuel tank, and the rear rims sprayed with epoxy primer. And that's not happening. But at the same time, I don't care, as long as we're doing it right. Doesn't matter if it takes a little longer. It's not like I need this thing to go pull my planter. I've been doing a video on my Kraus accelerator vertical tillage tool. Doing a ton of upgrades on that. That will be coming out sometime soon. And that's what I should be working on instead of this right now, but this is more fun. Ooh, that really hurt. Smashing the good old fingers. That's a heavy starter. So much more room for activities now. Look, dear, we can sand more.
Ooh, yay! Will you do me a favor? Yeah. Blow me off. Stop it. Why can't I get it this time? I give up. I think I'm too tired.
Alright.
Goodbye.
She's such a slacker. Always trying to get out of work. Alright, I'm going to go on the other side and undo this line so I can pull it out of there. That way I can wire wheel this better. And yeah, bring you back. Alright, everybody. The arm on the other side has tested my patience to the end, so let's try this one. Well, I'm just going to keep heating and beating on these things. I'll get them off one way or another, but I think I'm just going to end this one right here. No sense in watching me keep heating and air chiseling on that. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.